Good evening. Welcome back to Harvest Home Hermitage. This is Patricia, and I'm finally getting a video up. It's been a couple of weeks now. I think maybe 3 almost. Had a bit of an experience. I was cleaning out the front perennial bed, the one that is that I've got set up as, or ready to go, if you can see it now, as a cottage garden bed. That's it over there behind me. I managed to go through the wire that connects to the fountain to its solar panels, so that's par for the course, I guess, for me. I'll have to get another one. I tried repairing it and it just didn't work. And of course now the sun is going to come out for the first time today and shine directly in my face. Whatever. Oh goodness. No, I got out and did that, and I felt really good that day. So I went out and weeded that whole garden and laid out cardboard for the sheet mulch. And then I went down and I had picked up 10 bags of 100% cedar mulch, because I have to use that because of my termite problem in this area. And what happened was that the next day I got it all laid out in one day. Got all that laid out in one day, and I woke up the next morning and I was feeling kind of achy. But I went ahead. I said I need 5 more bags, and I will have this thing completely done. I can get it done and water it real good, and hopefully it'll be happy again. It'll be presentable, at least. And so I went and got them, and I picked up some, went over to Lowe's and I picked up some, I should have just said big box store. Anyway, they're not sponsoring this. My slip of my tongue. Anyway, I went over there and I was able to get not only 5 more bags, I got 5 more bags, but I also found their half-dead plants clearance sale. And so I picked up, they had some that were similar to what I already have in the bed, so I picked up some of those and put them out. And they had some classic cottage garden flowers. So I put those down in the classic cottage garden end of the bed. And I put the natives down here in closer to the fountain, where I'm doing the I'm kind of got this garden as kind of segueing from a cottage garden, a full-on English-style cottage garden at one end, to a Texas natives cottage garden style garden at this end. And from there it's going to segue into a more naturalistic native plants garden right here behind me, around this oak tree. And so anyway, I had done all of that. I had gotten all the stuff laid out. I got the new mulch laid out, and everything weeded, and everything mulched and happy, and all the plants planted. And the next morning I woke up just sick. Absolutely. I felt like I had the flu. I felt weak and tired. Hadn't been able to sleep the night before, had insomnia. And anyway, by day 2, I realized I was in a full-on flare-up. I had overdone it spectacularly. Lasted about 3 days. I lost 3 days of work. It's 3 days I'm having to either take as sick or vacation days. So we'll see what that's not going to do good for my vacation time. because I think I'm out at sick days for the year. Anyway, I ended up getting 2 days of work in as long as I didn't overdo it, which means I got very little done. And I feel guilty about that, but it is what it is. I can only do what I can do, and if my body's not cooperating, my body's not cooperating. I had a mosquito. We this week, got some rain. We have been needing it desperately. I was completely out of water in my rain butts, and it was looking bad. I had tried to fix my rain drip system, and I only finally got it, the last bits repaired right before the rain started. And I finally got it. I got it all repaired. I couldn't figure out. Suddenly, it just wasn't watering again. What on earth is going on? I finally looked at the timer, and the batteries had run out of the timer. I'd patched every little hole, every little piece of broken line, and it was that the batteries were out in the timer now. So I just pulled the timer off and did it manually. But I have lost at least 2 of my tomato plants to the heat, and some of my strawberry plants, and my blueberry bush. This is a crispy critter. And probably all of the little plants that I bought from Willis Orchards. I wish Willis Orchards would deliver those things at the right time. They will only send them in the spring in this area, and every time I plant fruit trees in the spring, they die. They die at this time of year because it gets too hot for them, and they get fried. So I was putting them in pots and hoping to get them trying to nurse them to fall, and it was just too much. This heat was just too much for them in pots. So there we are. It would have been too much for them in the ground. Thank you, neighbor. I don't know what they're riding on, so it was too fast to be the little girl who rides her riding lawnmower down the street. And it was slung too low to be. I think must have been a go-kart or something. Anyway, little four-wheeler. Anyway, so I'm not very happy with my Willis Orchard trees. I'm gonna have to contact them. They will supposedly replace them within a year, so I'm gonna have to contact them and say, hey, this happened. They all died because of the heat, and hopefully they will agree to send them to me in the fall rather than the spring. As this weekend, though, this Saturday, I'm taking it easy. I am not going to kill myself. I'm not going to get all fired up and go out and work, although I desperately want to. Part of my plan for the nursery, which I've decided to name the Magic Garden. I think it's secular enough to fly under the radar, I think. But I want to put in a dyer's garden is one of the ones. I want to put in a variety of example gardens around the yard with pathways between them. And one of the ones I want to put in is a dyer's garden. And so I've got that in the back of my mind. I'm thinking of what plants need to go into it, a good variety of plants to go into it. And so that's what I've got on my mind, the design for that. I'm thinking of bright red hibiscus in the center with pathways around it. And then the other dye plants. I don't know if I wanted to arrange them in. Well, no. What I want to do is arrange them in watering requirements around, because that's really, really important for doing these little gardens like this. But yeah. Anyway, it's just one of the ideas I've got for this. There's going to be an herb garden, a medicinal herb garden, and a culinary herb garden. I thought I might do one of those as one of those herb spirals. They're very cute, and they are very trendy right now. But you can never grow enough herbs in them to be useful for anything. And the same thing is going to be true for that little example dyer's garden. I'm not going to grow enough in there to actually use for somebody who is actually wanting to do any significant dyeing of yarn or fabric. But I will be able to show examples of what can be used. Excuse me. So that's a plan for the future. I'm going to get some black plastic and go out and solarize a spot that I picked out for this. The kitty cats are enjoying the cooler weather. It's down to 88 degrees this afternoon, which it has a heat index of 95, so that's why I'm sitting in the shade still, but it's still significantly cooler than inside the house where we still have no air conditioner. That's going to be a while. Yeah. Anyway, that's where I am with that. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I get this yarn from Darn Good Yarns. I'm in their Yarn of the Month club, and I will put it's an okay little club. I pay I think $13 all told for the club membership and shipping, and they send me one or two balls or skeins or hanks of yarn each month. And I don't know if you know much about Darn Good Yarn. They're also not a sponsor, but they make a lot of reclaimed silk yarn. They sell a lot of reclaimed silk. This is silk tailings and leavings that would normally go to waste in India in the fabric and spinning and weaving shops in India. And the ladies pick this stuff up and they spin it into yarn and dye it. And it's bought at fair trade prices by Darn Good Yarn. And so it's a nice little, they send me a one ball or skein or hank or whatever they're putting it in at the time of yarn, of different colored yarn. And some of them are very bright and vivid, and some of them are less so, and some are very attractive, some of them are less so, at least to my eyes. Anyway, what I think I will do, but it is, as my stash has a large number of these balls of mostly silk, some silk blends and some cotton or linen blends of yarn. And I thought what I would do is start making little Tarot bags out of them. I would knit simple little Tarot bags out of them and put them on a website and sell them. And that would help bring some money in. I'd have to price them up above the $13 that I pay for the yarn, but maybe $25, $30 for a bag. Yeah. And I might throw in some doilies or face cloths or whatever. Anyway, it's an idea. It's something else I can do and try and raise some funds to keep the Hermitage afloat and keep myself afloat. Oh, but I like the way they operate with the yarn, reusing things that would normally go to waste like that. And like getting my little, rescuing the little plants that I've rescued from the We Almost Killed It stand at Lowe's. It's always a good way to operate. I don't really have I'm kind of rambling. I apologize for this video. That breeze feels good. Okay, well, this was just a little ramble, and I'm sorry I don't have anything more profound to say, but thank you for listening for a few minutes, and blessed be. Have a good evening.